They're the darlings of YouTube gearheads and now have their own television show. We're talking to Flying Sparks, Aaron and Emily Reeves in the hangar.
I used to be a well-respected member of the aviation community, and then I started flying to Cirrus, and that changed.
Oh, that was great until the engine quit.
And all of a sudden I see these explosions and these trees exploding.
I'm walking away a better pilot because of this discussion.
I'm so excited for this episode of In the Hangar. I've got Emily and Aaron Reeves, Flying Sparks Garage. Emily, you know, we go back to shooting a TV show togetger, and now I finally get to have you guys come on to the Aviation show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
We are excited.
glad to be here.
Well, okay, so let's, now, of course, you've got your audience, and maybe the aviation audience doesn't know who you guys are as much. So let's, who are you? Aaron?
Right. Well, okay, so we have a YouTube channel. Emily and I have been together for 17 years. I'm the typical addicted gearhead, always in the shop, and that's been going on for my whole life. And so when we got together, it was pretty evident early on that if she wanted to hang out with me, we were going to be in the shop. And she took that challenge and actually became very good at it and has created a name for herself in her own right, honestly.
Especially for such a closeted introvert that wants to be in the shadows.
I know, that's right. Yeah, it's shocking when the camera comes on, she just comes to life. And she's such a people person.
Yeah, it's really been fun. Of course, I grew up in the fashion and commercial industry, which is how we worked together because we were filming, you know, stuff and it was awesome. But the whole world of YouTube and, you know, being able to build a business and a brand on social media just had me all kinds of excited about building something automotive related, and now incorporating aviation to that has been so much fun. So we're almost 4 years in now from starting the YouTube channel and getting all of that going, and it's going places. It's really wild.
It's going so good that MotorTrend reached out to you guys to give you your own show, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're on TV now.
Yeah,
Okay.
starting in April, no, excuse me, starting in February of this last year, 2018, we actually shot 10 episodes.
Yep.
And it's aired now.
And it's aired now. How's
Yeah.
it doing air-wise?
Well, so last weekend on Saturday was the first day, so we don't have any metrics yet
No
to
numbers.
look at.
Well, I tell you what, for our audience, why don't we take a look at Emily and Aaron's promo for their new show, Live, Love, Wrench.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's the one.
I'm Emily. This is my husband, Aaron. And you're watching Live, Love, Wrench. Get out of here, Mack truck. I got somebody to catch up to. That's awesome. Thanks to Glenn holding the camera, you guys are along on the journey with us as we learn.
You want to do those?
Well, I'll certainly take a swing at it. True love is tightening exhaust pins together.
That's right.
There are many, many, many how-to videos out there. Say a little prayer. This isn't one of them.
No.
Wow. Good run.
That is good.
Guys, that's awesome.
So
looking.
fun.
It just, when does it air?
So it's airing on weekends right now. So last weekend, the January 5th was the premiere date. So it aired January 5th and January 6th, and then today is January 12th, so it'll air today, and then tomorrow as well. So, but lots of people pull up on their TV, they search Live, Love, Wrench, and up it comes. So they can
Yeah, so we don't
record the whole season.
It's not the same every day because what they're doing is they're kind of testing the market. So it's bouncing around through the week. So we don't have there is a schedule, but we don't have it memorized for the whole season.
Is MotorTrend on pretty much all the big players, Dish and Uverse?
Yes, so it's a channel that is owned by Discovery, and it used to be named Velocity. So lots of people still think of it as the Velocity channel, but in November of 2018, they rebranded it to MotorTrend. So now it's called MotorTrend.
Okay, so we've established the garage in Flying Sparks Garage. Now let's go back to the
flying part.
Yeah.
Now you've got the word flying into the name of your thing. So why is that?
Well, I'm a pilot. I've been licensed for 3 years, about 350 hours. And oftentimes we will take adventures. We may go get car parts if we need something on a last minute build. That's happened a few times. Or if we go to do an appearance or something like that, we'll take the airplane for that reason as well. And we try to record that, kind of show people, because what's interesting I've learned is the automotive audience, I mean, these are gearheads. They like things with motors that make noise. And when I show them the flying stuff, they're oftentimes so unfamiliar with it, they didn't even know it was a reality or a possibility that they could get into it. And
Well,
so,
it's a loud motor. They should like it.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm seeing this amazing crossover of people that are interested in cars, and now they're getting into flying because of it. So we try to show that stuff.
So occasionally, I'm a subscriber to the Flying Sparks Garage channel, YouTube channel, and occasionally I've seen episodes that are totally devoted to your flying.
Sure.
How have those done with your audience, your
Very
gearhead
well.
audience?
Yeah, very well. Surprisingly, actually, sometimes we throw stuff out there and just see if it sticks, and that's one that the audience is constantly trying to get us to do more of. So, has that been your experience as well?
Oh, most definitely. People love it. And especially watching Aaron, because on the show, it's mostly me, and he's just like backing me up, and he's somewhat of an introvert. So he
Right.
just he would rather me do the talking. But with the aviation stuff, that's his baby. And so it's really fun for me to grab the camera and shoot him, pre-flighting the plane and, talking about weight and balance and going over the checklist upon, right before we're getting ready to, depart. It's really cool for people to see that element and how
Yeah, I like
so
how
many
in-
aspects of
in
it.
one of your videos, I mean, you were weighing every single piece of luggage and marking it and going through your weight and balance, and it was great to see that as a pilot that you were taking that kind of detail. Now, as a pilot, what are your ratings? When did you get your license? Tell me a little bit about how you've become a pilot.
Yeah,
Where you're at.
okay. So, I mean, my history goes way back. 2010, I took a ride with a friend of mine in a King Air 200. I was right seat
That's
to
a small
Belize.
plane.
Yeah, so we went to Belize, and we had this experience where we took off from Meacham Field, and it was snowing outside, and we had to tow the plane out of the snow, clear the ramp, and we landed in Belize, and it was 85 degrees, and it was 4 hours later. And I thought, yeah, I think I need this in my life. This is
I
this
can
is
have more of
good,
this.
right? And so it took many years because I was doing one lesson a week, and maybe I'd skip a month because I didn't have the money, honestly.
Right.
I'm self-employed, and so when business is good, there's no time to fly, and when it's down,
There's no money to
a lot of
fly.
times there's no money, right? So I went through that. I had probably 30 hours, and then ended up getting an opportunity to buy an airplane, and I bought the airplane, and then I had to get my license, so it was a push to finish it so I could actually go fly it. And I'm a private pilot. I'm probably halfway through my instrument rating.
Okay.
I think I'll finish that up at the end of the month. I'm going
Oh,
to go into
good.
an accelerated course and just knock it out.
Okay, so that's where you're heading on IFR. You mentioned buying a plane. Emily, what's the story on
Ooh,
this
I get to
plane?
talk.
I know it's so rare.
This airplane is the most special aircraft we could have ever ended up with. So I grew up flying with this sweet man named Don Burtis, and he and his wife Ellie would jump in their little airplane and fly all over, and I just grew up, remember thinking, man, that is just so cool that they can just jump in their own airplane and go to Fredericksburg or go to New Orleans. And he would take my sister and I flying around the lake where we live, and I just have so many fond memories. And that plane came up for sale, and Aaron didn't even have his license yet, right? So I'm like, babe, we have to get that plane. I know it's more money than we were wanting to spend, but that plane is so special, and it's like the most beautiful airplane ever, But he had already seen it, which was another interesting aspect. My mom had dug up photos from when my sister and I would go fly with Don, and Aaron actually put a picture of Don's plane on his aviation vision board, which was pretty incredible. And so whenever the plane came up for sale, we were like, we have to do this. So
Okay, I think my big takeaway here is that Aaron had an aviation vision board as a child.
no, like he
No,
was an
that-
adult. I mean,
Oh, as an adult,
Yeah,
even
no.
better.
No,
Aviation.
he was an adult. I mean, this was aviation became on the scope. Like we were probably together a dozen years already whenever
Okay.
you decided.
Okay, so tell me about the 172.
What do you want to know about it?
What year is it?
Okay.
What kind of avionics?
Specs.
Yeah.
Give me the specs.
Drop
The
the spec
specs.
sheet on it,
It's a
babe.
76 model, so that would make it a mic, an M
Okay.
model. It's got about 2,300 hours on the airframe,
Oh wow,
about 400 on the engine, or at least that's what it was when I bought it. We put about
you put in a couple, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a partner in the airplane,
Hmm.
and we may have mentioned that earlier. And we put about 200 hours a year on the plane, so it's really fun. It gets flown a lot, My avionics are pretty basic. King 155 with glide slope, 2 VORs. I have an ADF, archaic,
wow.
and also
What's
it's
that?
broken, right? Yeah. So, and I've got a situational awareness GPS, so it's a Garmin 496. And that's probably, you were asking about the IFR stuff.
Right.
That piece is probably going to have to be changed.
Yeah.
So that I can do some RNAV approaches and things like that.
Yeah, because that was my next question. Is Ellie,
Mm-hmm.
is it IFR rated?
It is IFR certified. However, for me to be comfortable, I think I would like to get that GPS in there. And, you know,
Especially get a WASR.
yeah,
GPS.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have no intentions of flying minimums in a 172. However, if the situation comes up, I'd rather have a certified GPS in there.
Yeah, I just flew to minimums to Harlingen
Right.
recently, and
Mm-hmm.
I was glad for the WAS. I'll
Sure.
tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've talked about your flying
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting a pilot. Emily, are you a pilot? Where are you at?
No, I am not.
Why not?
Well, to be quite frank, I am quite intimidated to go through all of the work and commitment and studies that it takes to actually be a pilot. There are so many areas of knowledge that it requires that I'm intimidated, and I just want to jump in the
can't-
plane with him and just
I
like
can't believe you're intimidated by
take the-
anything.
I know, it's
But
crazy.
all that work and
But I want
knowledge,
to.
but you've got the passion, and that's really what
I
you
do,
need.
and really, the more we fly together, the more I understand, you know, weight and balance and weather and communications and talking on the radio and all of
You
those
see, all
elements
that stuff
that
is
are
the hard work and stuff. You've already done a lot of it. Just
yeah,
being
and I
familiar.
sat in on a lot of his ground school classes, and I mean, I was probably riding along in 90% of your
Yeah.
flights with that instructor. So I feel like it's kind of part of me. I just have this. I have to break through
You
that
have to just
fear
like
of actually.
find another another pilot like a blonde.
I know what you're getting
yeah,
at.
co-host of In the Hangar, who's recently gotten her
Right.
CFI. Would
I
probably
did
be a
happen to
good
just
way
meet
go.
her, and I think she's pretty incredible. So maybe
so
something
she-
might take place
there
there.
might be something there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the obvious question
Mm-hmm.
is, you guys are gearheads, so are you an AMP?
I'm
Are you going to head that way? Do you like to work on Ellie, or do you have to? Do you work on her and get her signed off, or do you just send her to somebody that's an AMP?
Yeah, so I have a mechanic that works with me. I've become friends with him. So, like,
You fix his car, he fixes your plane.
well, we haven't done that yet, but that may happen. So, right now I have a carburetor issue on the airplane. So, obviously, I can't fly it to him. So, it's really neat. He's also a pilot. He'll fly down to my airport and he'll fix the airplane. I don't think if I get an AMP, it won't be because I want to work on my own airplane. It'll be for if I buy an older Bonanza or something that I can help restore it.
Okay,
It'll allow me to do some menial tasks that have to be signed off.
so that's not on your airplane vision board, AMP.
It's certainly not, and I'll tell you why. Having been a mechanic my entire life, I think if you are not doing something all the time, you can get a little bit rusty and maybe miss stuff. And so I'd just rather someone be working on it that is in there every single day working on airplanes.
Yeah, you want to make sure that engine is by somebody who specializes in that. That's
Sure.
a great point. Okay, so you guys now fly to a lot of, I've seen the videos, you fly to a lot of different places. You guys went to Osh. Was that the first time in 2018 that you guys had been to Oshkosh? No, you've been multiple
No,
times.
Yeah,
this
we've
would have
been-
been the fourth or fifth year, I think.
Yeah,
been.
this was my third year, your fourth year, I
Okay.
believe,
Oh,
because
wow.
I missed a
See,
year.
I've never been.
Oh my
Right.
gosh,
I know,
Dan, you
That's
a
have to
big deal.
go.
I know.
It's
I
the
know.
most incredible.
Well, I tell you what. Let's. I can get to go vicariously through you guys.
Yes.
We got some video of
Yes,
y'all's
I did
trip.
a big episode last
Yeah.
year.
So let's see some of the video of them going to Osh.
Please.
So, what are we seeing here? Oh, that's a B2. I know what
Yeah.
that is.
Just the massive airplanes there and the how tiny the people look is incredible.
Now you guys
You
didn't,
see all kinds of aircraft. I mean,
you guys didn't get to fly into Osh. You had to fly nearby, right?
correct.
We tried to go into Oshkosh twice, and what had happened is a low cloud layer came over the day before, and it actually shut everyone out. And so there was this major push to get in. And on both of my attempts to go up to the approach point where you would enter at Fisk, I got overwhelmed with the traffic
Right.
and made an executive decision to divert and save myself for another day.
Now, how many? It was the days just filled with this kind of stuff, with people doing demonstrations and
It is, but you know what's interesting? If you've been around airplanes a long time, I think most pilots would agree that this stuff gets kind of mundane.
Oh, really?
The really neat thing about Oshkosh is hanging out with your pilot friends,
Really?
looking at airplanes that maybe you have a dream of owning someday, and just visiting.
Wow. So that's the takeaway from Osh is that it's the show is awesome and great, but really it's
It's the
meeting the
people.
other people.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think the show is really neat and it attracts non-aviators into it. But once you've been there a few times, the most interesting thing is meeting those friends each year and hanging out together and talking airplanes.
And it's miles of airplanes. So you can just walk up and down the lanes, and there's folks that have their tents set up under the wing of their plane, and they're, camping out. And it is just the sweetest thing to go connect with people and hear their stories. And we met a handful of people, even folks that had followed us with our car stuff, that were excited to meet us, and they're also had flown in their planes.
Yeah, that was fun. We met a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, that
Yes.
followed us in the car world.
And that was really amazing. And now have become friends, of course, because not only cars bring you together, but airplanes too.
It is
So
amazing to me how these two industries, the
the
automotive,
crossover is
to
heavy.
aviation.
It's wonderful.
So, okay. So now you guys are on TV. You have a very popular YouTube channel. So fans know you. You guys are, you're very transparent. But what's something that maybe your fans would be surprised to know about you guys?
You want to go first?
Well, if you have something in your head,
So
go ahead.
I'll touch on two things real quick.
Okay.
One thing that I'm sure they don't know about is I actually started a YouTube channel. Oh man, 15 years ago probably, way before Emily ever got into this stuff, and I was doing diesel conversions on Jeeps, and that was short-lived. I didn't stick in there.
Can we
and
still find it?
I don't know if you can or not.
And
If you
six
can,
subscribers and
Yeah.
37
yeah.
views.
If it can be found, I'll be sure that it's gone by tomorrow. Yeah,
I have found it.
yeah.
So it's findable.
That's
Okay,
my-
that's one thing.
Yeah, and I was also a musician. I traveled and played music for 9 years. I was actually in a Christian rock band.
Oh,
I had
awesome.
a great time with that.
What'd
a lot
you
of
play?
fun. I was a bass guitarist.
Because I've done that too, guitar and keyboards for
Yeah.
Christian. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Oh,
a
that-
good one. I didn't think of
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
did not know that. What was the name of your band?
Trade Cities.
Trade Cities. And then did you
Hair down to
some
here.
covers?
Oh,
or
his
did
hair
you-
was long.
Oh, it was like
We-
80s
It was
rock, like
awesome.
the mullet thing that
No.
took the churches about 10 years late?
No, mine was beautiful and flowy, like not just in the back.
Like Emily's. Basically, take Emily's hair and put it on you.
Exactly right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. But his was longer.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
His was like to the, it was
Yeah, that's
pretty,
Okay.
still
pretty
out there.
You're gonna
wonderful.
have to
You
send me
need to
pictures,
push,
so
you need
I
to
need
post
to
a
put-
throwback.
I will.
I need to put a picture up that we just
Okay.
saw just now. So I'll do that in post.
We'll find
Okay.
that. Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So, Emily, something
Okay.
your fans don't know.
Well, so I've touched on this before on a YouTube episode that we did, but it's not something I talk about frequently, but it's really something that has made me who I am today. I quit school in 3rd grade.
Wow.
Yeah, so my parents were quite the hippies, and when especially my mom, when she sent my sister and I to public school, she was opposite of the moms that were like, get these things out of our house. She was so sad about it. And she got a job at the school library to be close to us. And I remember vividly going and asking the teacher, can I go to the bathroom? Going to the restroom, but stopping and giving my mom a hug. And I would get in trouble and she would get in trouble. And it was this weird dynamic of like, we don't belong here. They don't get us, And so after a Christmas break, my mom was like, we're not going back. So we homeschooled. And that was something that was absolutely incredible for me because she and Dad really focused on the person behind knowledge. So it wasn't so much book smarts. They didn't focus on book smarts to pass tests and to be at a certain grade level. They focused on the ability to ask questions and find something you're passionate about and find a mentor and go forth with what makes you tick. Don't worry so much about just knowledge that you're going to forget. Like I saw so many friends in school that would just cram for tests and remember things just to get through a class and then forget it because they didn't have any application in the real world. So I didn't learn a lot of that stuff. I didn't learn a lot of the history and a lot of the algebra, but on the flip side of that, when I met Aaron, he was in the shop building engines, and when I was 15, I built my first engine, and that was huge for me. I didn't know any girls that built engines, and that was kind of where the real world sciences came real for me. So I learned in a really alternative way, and it was really amazing. And I still use that underlying core of a foundation that I learned from not being traditionally educated. It was more about the soul and the spirit of the person, not necessarily cramming information into their head that they're not going to use, So that's something that's pretty huge that I don't talk about a lot, but it's something that's very near and dear to my heart, and I use every day.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you guys coming on the show. And what we really need to do is go for a flight in the 210, and you need to get your license.
Yes, sir.
And, especially if you're doing the long cross country,
I know.
you need to be able to spell.
Well,
it.
I mean, I take the controls every now and then when we're, straight and level, and he can, move his seat back and kick back. And I love that. I absolutely love it.
All right.
So I will.
All right. So we'll go on the 210 sometime. Go somewhere fun.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. So, thanks everybody for watching. And if you get a chance, go check out Aaron and Emily's channel. It's Flying Sparks Garage. We've got a link to it posted in our description as well. And also check out their new show on MotorTrend, Live, Love, Wrench.
That's the one.
All right. So share and subscribe this channel, and we'll see you next time in the hangar.